Testing. All right, cool. My mic is getting picked up. Solid. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into episode 51 of the No Cooldown Podcast, man. Episode 51, over the halfway mark towards 100. I don't even think we might have mentioned it last week. I don't know if we did, but damn, we almost to 100, bro. We over halfway. And of course, you know what I'm saying, I'm in the building, but I'm here with my co-host, podcast partner in crime, excuse me, One Easy to God. How you doing, One Easy?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I was very tired. Then I ate food, and that's how energy
Mm.
works.
Science. Shout out to Bill Nye, bro. He teaching us a lot of shit, bro. I hear it. I hear it, man. And of course, we got our other podcast partner in crime, King in the building. Say what's okay for the audio version. If you're gonna see this on audio platforms, you guys gotta just look at the video version, man. King couldn't be here today because of you know what I'm saying, he had to handle some business and stuff with some travel things, but he'll be back next week. And we got a stand-in for him. We got a good stand-in, you know what I'm saying? I think he's gonna, really fill the gap. So if you're seeing the video versions, take a look. And yeah, I think we have a pretty productive pod, you know what I'm saying, despite the absence. I'm excited. When are you excited?
I'm very excited.
It's one of the best ideas when it's ever had, and we're never going back, bro. This is why I will have perfect attendance on this podcast from here on out to the end of time. I'm not getting meme, bro. There's already enough memes of me out on the internet, bro. There's nah. We not letting that happen. I need my live in the flesh, bro. Listen. Anyways, speaking of which, you should do like, you know what I'm saying, our standing here and go rate it 5 stars on the podcast. Go rate this podcast 5 stars, audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We'll go and rate it 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? Just search up No Cooldown. We're also available on Stitcher, Google Podcast, and of course on Anchor as well. Video versions will be available on the official No Cooldown Podcast YouTube channel. As well on Spotify. But again, if you're looking for the YouTube versions and the video versions, check out the YouTube link. It should be in the description of the audio version or this version that you're watching right now. Again, we'll be there on Twitter as well. No Cooldown Pod. A lot of stuff to get through this week. We got to get right to it though. No warm-ups, no nothing like that. Got some main stories to cook through. Got a couple of stuff in the trailer trove to, you know what I'm saying, take a peek at. When is you ready?
I am ready.
King Standing, are you ready? All right, let's go. All right. Oh shoot. First off, we gotta start off with one of the biggest developments from this week that started to come through. To basically answer the cries, the complaints, the gibbering and jabbering of all the critics. Xbox is now set to host their first developer direct on January 25th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT, which will give some closer looks at the progress and build hype for several upcoming projects, including Redfall, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Dungeons, Elder Scrolls Online, and more. And on top of that, they need to provide so much emphasis. They announced that Starfield was going to be getting its own dedicated developer direct and deep dive to get, more direct details on the game. So, I mean, how do you feel about this shift? How do you feel about this statement coming up at the end of the month from Microsoft?
So for me, it's kind of just like I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Starfall's announcement to begin with. Like, I mean, the announcement is fine, but I mean, like, where are we at with Starfall after it was announced?
That's crazy you calling it Starfall. That's hilarious.
Oh, I'm sorry. I like the Star game, the Starfield. You know what I mean?
The
Like,
Star one.
yeah. Man, when I see a main character, I'm gonna start caring. But like the way this game has kind of just been marketed, which is that word is doing a lot of heavy lifting with the way this game's been
Mm,
marketing. It's just not exciting whatsoever. Like
mm,
it's not exciting. And the thing is that like the way it's kind of being shown off as like this next step, this amazing, monstrous, very ambitious project, from a company that hasn't really pulled off a lot of their most ambitious ideas, is just like it doesn't feel good. Like every time I hear Starfall,
mm,
I don't get excited. I get more worried and I get
mm,
more concerned for like the people who are really actually looking forward to this game.
mm,
I think more information is great, but I also can see this not being a good thing for them. I could also see that because I think honestly the amount of information they gave us in general is too much for where the game is at right now.
I am in a pretty I guess weird spot with Starfield, honestly. I was about to call it Starfall. You was about to hook me, bro. You was about to get me hooked on that one. Damn. Uh I think they're in between a rock and a hard place. So they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. So if they do provide more information and give people clear looks, they're gonna basically come under higher levels of scrutiny because they're putting out this information. So everything's gonna get dissected. People are gonna, form that stuff. But I know everybody's gonna form their opinion on whatever amount of information they have, whether little or large. People are gonna assume it is what it is. But if they don't, it's like, oh, where are you guys in the marketing cycle? Where is this? Like, you could circumvent it by dropping little teaser trailers or something like that, just little like cinematics or something just to keep people active. But again, there's no gameplay in that. So people are going to judge you off the marketing campaign, like, oh, you didn't really show anything. And you just dropped the game expecting us to pick it up. So they're kind of in this space where they have to make a choice and they're gonna be condemned no matter what choice they make. They just have to kind of tough through it and hope that it's better on the other side. Uh to speak in general of the Xbox brand, I think for a good portion of these games and a good portion of the brand for this year in general, this is a good move. I think this is a good move. This is very, what I'm saying? We got to copy off Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? We got to get in a bag. Shout out to Nintendo for the innovation, but they want to update their own consoles. That's another issue. That's another issue. But the fact that they have to make more direct, basically, audiences with the people who enjoy Xbox games and the brand, it's important for them, especially this year. Last year everybody complained like, "Where are the Xbox games? Where's everybody at? Where is this and that? Blah blah blah." And now they're trying to really get a clear, lined out path where, hey, listen, these games are coming out. We're gonna give these updates, this month, in a couple of months, at the summer interim, and then when these games drop, we're gonna just, provide as much coverage as we can. They need to be as upfront and in the public's faces as they possibly can. I think out of all three major brands, they have to, just because of, just the cycle. You know what I mean? Just how everything is. It's just the nature of the beast for them, and they have to kind of win by attrition. In a sense, to get their stuff out there, because I mean, nobody's necessarily going to be naturally checking out for Redfall. You know what I'm saying? Or at least the most amount of people, or the mainstream, isn't going to be checking out for Redfall unless you put it in their faces enough. Like if you say, "Oh, Spider-Man 2 is coming out this year," as soon as they could drop one a trailer, just be with the name. Insomniac could drop that, and Sony could drop that one day with just the name of it and like an extra character that wasn't in the previous like footage, and they'll be fine. They'll best sell everything. They'll do whatever. Xbox has the biggest mountain to climb in terms of they have to market their games. They have to show that these games are quality. They have to show that there's the excitement for these games is valid. There needs to be validation behind that. So I feel like they have to show more than they tell, in that sense, man. Speaking of Starfield, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bruh. I'm a little, I'm not, I'm going to play it. I think I'm going to play it, but I'm just not convinced by these, the showing so far. I'm not too convinced, especially with how things feel for me. You know what I mean? I'm like, dang, okay, you trying to go like the super vast, like, No Man's Sky route, but it's not necessarily procedural. You just have 100 worlds that are fully, you can land mostly anywhere, have a lot of different detailed missions to go through, have a lot of concerns with Bethesda's natural tendency to have glitches in almost everything that they ever do. I mean, who doesn't? But still, like game breaking, like it's bad performance, non-optimized type stuff. Like there's a lot of potential pitfalls with such an ambitious game, and I agree with Wen's point. It's hard to bank on them when you push the envelope on a team that is not as stable in certain, I guess, areas of performance. And it's rough. It can be rough. It can be rough, but it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So they got to make a move. They got to bust a move. And for me personally, I would rather if games didn't show off that much, just to again, at least invite uh, some intrigue, some mystery beyond it. You know what I'm saying? By the time a certain game come out midway through the year, like it's like has a new trailer or something like that. People done dissected it. They told you this, and this from the data mine files. You can do this mode, that mode. This strat's the best. Like I like that level of intrigue to it, to just figure it out on your own. Of course, there's gonna be guides and stuff to help you out in certain situations, but I like the level of figure your shit out. But I feel like they're forced to show more of their hand because they have less ground to stand on.
Yeah, and that ground it's dwindling with time. The longer
Mhm.
you wait to put out a good game, I think the last game that was well received from Bethesda was Fallout 4. that I can personally remember that is like Bethesda made, not like obviously Deathloop was
Yes,
great,
yes.
obviously Doom Eternal was great, but like last
Fallout 4, after the first, like, 2 months of bad glitches, it was
yeah,
better
and it was
received.
and that's what I'm saying. Like Fallout 4 was in their not in the world scope, in the Bethesda scope. Like if we put it
Mm.
all inside their life, that was the last good game that was received
Yeah, that
well.
that they directly yeah,
Yeah, like if
facts.
compared to other games, no, you wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to
nah.
do the Bethesda my game sucks for 6 months unless you're EA. Like you wouldn't be able to do that unless you're a big name or have a big name. Because if I didn't want to say if Insomniac dropped that before Ratchet and Clank the remake, like let's say if they did something like that, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. They would be like Insomniac, they lost it. That's it. It's whack. Like you have
Mhm.
to be at a certain level to be able to um, push out things that are not ready and not viable and be able
Facts,
to survive the sharks. Like
facts.
if CD Projekt Red put out Cyberpunk before Witcher 3, I don't even know if we would have seen Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying is like and
Mm.
so I don't know. Truthfully, I remember the one time that I actually went and sought out information on Starfield. It was four dudes sitting around talking about the game. And that's when I knew that it's pretty cooked for the marketing. Like
Yeah,
I'm not going to get any real answers until the game drops. So I'm not
yeah.
really holding my breath for this announcement unless they show me. I need like just one 5 minute trailer. I don't even. I was gonna say 8. I want 5 minutes of gameplay, and I don't want a slow walking voiceover. I want 5 minutes of solid gameplay. Like I want something that's tangible. But this
Mm.
whole look at this person walking through this town slowly. Like yeah, I understand that you rendered the town and you did the stuff for this one section, but we need a lot more, bro. Because this game has been
Mm.
announced since this game was announced before Doom Eternal came out. Like that, it was announced in like
Yep.
2019
Damn.
at the most. I want to say it was
Lord.
in
Yeah,
2019. It might even be
yeah.
2018, but I think it was 19. So like,
I
clock is
think you're
ticking.
probably right. Mhm. No lies, bro, and it's like they're Bethesda's one of the 2 companies who are on thin ice at this point. I think there might be I mean, relatively more, but I think, like, if this was like a game show, just like Big Brother or something like that, if there's 2 people up for eviction, is they're one of these people. They're one of those people. And the other person we gonna talk about later in the show, because it's crazy right now, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's make or break years for a couple of people. I can't even front.
Yeah, it's wild.
Very, very interesting indeed. Well, moving on to the next story here. Well, over the past 8-ish months, esports have been, taking hits from an organizational standpoint, and the latest iteration of that is no different. With the 100 Thieves actually going through a series of layoffs for their business. It was estimated to be about 30 people in the range of, non-technical roles, including their chief revenue officer. So, we've been seeing a lot of different waves of layoffs happening from the last year again throughout esports, TSM, Upcomer, Dignitas, Garena, and there was a couple more organizations. Just a lot of reshuffling, reorganization, and unfortunate layoffs and furloughs. So, I mean, should esports be still a little bit wary with all the downsizing and layoffs going on?
I think it's something to consider when going into the space. I remember applying for a job in esports. Specifically, it was a League of Legends American team to be like
Mm,
their intern or whatever. And it's just it's a very fast growing market, but it's also very volatile as well.
mm,
Like I can't even. I think I was talking to somebody. So don't take this as like a actual found fact. But there's a lot of esports company that don't actually make profit. Like they actually are
mm,
more in the negative than they are in the negative more times than they are in the positive. Rarely do they break even, and it's probably because of a few things. There's a many factors that go into it. Like, how can you even make money off of esports when this is an entirely new thing? Like, it's not like regular sports. It's not like regular basketball where you can watch a basketball game in so many different capacities. It's not even funny. And even if you pirate a basketball game, not saying that that's what you should do, but even if you did, you could still like basketball company like the teams are still going to make money off of just the advertisement around. Like there's just money to be made in sports, and it's going to be tough until we can figure out a way of like I don't regulating this gold rush, because that's another
mm,
thing too, is that like it's very fast growing. It is very competitive if you could not tell. And
mm.
sometimes you're just gonna you're gonna burn out, and people are unfortunately gonna lose their jobs. I hope that this
Facts.
can get brought down. I hope that like that people aren't gonna be losing their jobs every year
Mhm.
due to just like the volatility of the entire thing. And it's just quite sad. But right now, it's very scary to be working in esports because you're not really sure if you're gonna be around in the same position a
Mhm.
year, or at least with the same company a year from now. You know?
Yeah, not for real. Again, like as you can see, like with the 100 Thieves like situation, like their CRO, like literally C-suite executive person is gone. Like one of them is gone just because of the reorg. They're like, yeah, you're one of the like one of the most important people of the company out just because of that reshuffle. So it can very much change, quickly. And esports in general is such a again just a volatile place in nature, not just because of the sake of gaming and well, but just because of the people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like especially with some of the lifestyle brands slash gaming companies. You see a 100 Thieves, you see a Phase Clan. A lot of stuff can go left for you, and that could and the actions of few could affect the many. So it's like there's a lot of different pitfalls, variables, and stuff that people have to consider when running that. You know what I'm saying? That's why when Phase Clan was going crazy, that stock price was dropping. You know what I'm saying? I think at some around some point last
Yeah.
year. So it's a very, very slippery slope in esports right now, I think. And I think I personally think stability will come in the next few years. But right now, we're still weathering the effects of COVID. There's still like a lot of I say a lot of natural behavior and tendency just to stick outside of esports arenas or attending events and stuff like that. There's still a bit of an aversion to it from the gamer side. Generally, I think it's getting better, but I think there's still going to be that element of that there. And just in general for business operation, I mean, a whole bunch of companies from a business standpoint are they've been restructuring, they've been downsizing, they've been trying to stay more agile to stuff and just to again cost cut and maintain a decent profit margin. So this is not uncommon. You know what I'm saying? Twitter went through this, Meta went through this, you know what I'm saying? A lot of technical companies went through this and it was mainly focused on laying off non-technical people. So it's like unfortunate byproduct of where the tech space, esports space, you know what I'm saying, where those types of industries are now. But I'm hoping we get to the other side of this and hopefully have some stability for especially the non-technical people.
1,000%.
Yeah, man. I'm about to say, hopefully they got some good checks for a gamer controller or something like that, bro. You better give him some good severance, some bush.
I'm leaving there with 17 jerseys.
I'm leaving it with
I'm
something.
leaving here
I'm
with something.
listen, man. Hey, listen. I was what's his name? Nate Shot. Listen, don't worry about me, man. I have a box full of merch. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm up to the nose with it, like the dude from Home Improvement, the neighbor. I'm sitting there like, don't worry about what I'm doing, dog. Don't worry. Just, just you will never see me again.
And I'm getting your phone number, bro. I'm taking that with me
Facts.
too.
Facts. Nah, bro. I might need something someday, bro. I need to hold that.
I'm gonna need a favor.
Honestly. For real. All right, moving on to the next story here. So the Callisto protocol has now had some time to be amongst the people and get its reception and whatnot, but it actually turns out in the range of recognition for work on the game, there were about 20 people who weren't included in the credits, which includes some senior and lead staff personnel at Striking Distance Studios who put in some work for significant hours. It was reported. Now, of course, there's no really clear policy on who gets included or not in the gaming industry. Really, it's just kind of up to any case by case basis. But the unfortunate effect of situations like this is just where people who are freelance or have temporary contracts who do put in significant hours, they aren't really recognized in a lot of cases. After there's been a lot of reports of that crunch that happened at Striking Distance for Callisto Protocol. It's just kind of a weird look, man. So I mean, how you looking at this, When?
I think it's stupid that you just can't put my name on that big ass text of like that big ass scrolling text that most people are not reading. It's kind of known at this point that a lot of people aren't reading the credits unless you are A, worked on it and want to show people like, yeah, I worked on it, or B, just like somebody who's in the industry who knows people who's like, hey, I want to see if I want to see who has actually worked on this, or just like in general, if you're interested. It's not a lot of people don't read the credits. I feel like a lot of credits don't even make it to like the end of the game sometimes. I feel like they put it as an option now in a lot of games.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I think that I think it's just like so low effort to just add a name. And I don't think it really takes away from anybody to even just put special thank you to blah, blah, blah. Like at least that. It also just doesn't really make sense to me why you can't credit the people. Like there's just I don't see a real reason for this to not happen. Like it just doesn't make sense. Um,
Like, like you're stealing the glory for a game that kind of got like mid reviews. Like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah.
especially in cases where the game wasn't like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the game didn't go as crazy as you thought, or something like that. Or in the worst case, the game was ass. I'm like, you still don't want to put my name on that? Like, this is just for resume experience, bro. I don't even want to claim the game. I'm just gonna say I'm about to say undescribed horror game in the genre in 2023. That's all I'm gonna say I worked on. At
Yeah.
this point, you don't even put my name on it for proof.
It's
That's crazy.
it just doesn't really make sense. Like, and exactly what you said. Like, it's not like this game. It's not like you want to hog all the glory. There's not really much glory to hog. Some people liked it. Some
I
people
got a
didn't.
6 out of 7 out of 10.
Yeah, like it was a very okay game. It's not the best, not the worst. You know, we keep it pushing. But like, yo, you're not gonna fuck up my resume. My LinkedIn needs to look pristine. I'm putting that I worked on that game, and
Right.
you gonna give me the credit I deserve because
Facts.
you have me working
I'ma hold that
crazy
screenshot.
hours,
Imma hold that screenshot, boy. I was in here putting work in, putting pain in, like a whole with a whole crunch behind it too. How would you not? You need to
bro.
put people's names in twice and thrice.
If I'm crunching for your game, I need my title in there as well. I need it all. Like you can't even put me as special thanks if I'm working X amount of hours every week to make your game come out on time. Like that was the game is behind because of you, not because of me. Like
Facts.
it's insane.
I would have skipped the middleman. I wouldn't even talk to them. I went straight to the person who's putting the program in there, the editor. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
straight. I need that man Trip, aka the leader of the ATC, aka you know what I'm saying, Lord Flacco Jordy. You know what I'm saying? I need all that. I need all the names in there, top to bottom. Esquire, throw some extra stuff on there at the end too. 'Cause hell
Mhm.
no. That's ridiculous. All right, moving forward, got some rumors circulating here that the PS5 will get their native Discord integration on the next firmware update in March of this year. Thoughts on finally getting some movement on Discord and PS5?
I think that it's wild that PlayStation partnered with Discord first, and we're still waiting on Discord on PlayStation. We have been waiting for Discord on PlayStation for a minute now. Xbox already has it. It makes sense that Xbox has it because Xbox consoles are essentially just mini
Yeah.
PCs. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense that PlayStation's been dragging their feet for this long, especially with how competitive Xbox has been with them in like almost every other area. It's very tough for them to like not capitalize on their partnership with Discord when they did that first. Like they did that
hmm
first, and then we're still waiting. March, it's January right now. That is wild. You guys are moving very slow with you guys move very slow with PlayStation Plus Premium. I mean, look how that is now. I am seeing more games on there though. I will say that.
Yeah,
But
I seen the monthly bulk load get like a little bit bigger. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
okay,
every
okay,
every
okay.
month they've been adding like at least 6 games at this point. I'm like, okay, that's not bad because I mean, to be frank, if you added 1 game a week, that's plenty. Game Pass obviously does way more so, and PlayStation Plus is following suit. But like realistically speaking, a regular person will, if you played games every day, I think 1 game a week is a valid timeline per
Yeah,
thing. So like them
yeah.
adding the amount that they're adding, I think they're right on target with like having a great catalog in a couple of months. But at the same time, it took them almost like we heard about this for like a year before they added PlayStation Plus Premium or whatever, and
mhm.
it's still not as good as it could be. So seeing like them adding Discord in March, man, I don't know how many people you got working on Spider-Man, but that game has to be amazing for you guys to be working this slow on everything else. That like PlayStation is good at one thing, it's the corner three. They will hit it every single time, but their defense needs some work. Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna need to see more hustle out of them because like you can't get by with the corner three every game.
Facts, man. Where them hustle stats at, man? Where them hustle stats? Honestly, uh, yeah, I completely echo Wen's point. I was like, how the hell did you guys get a partnership locked in and y'all didn't do it? Y'all didn't pull a Ray J. Y'all didn't do it first. Y'all literally didn't do it first. You had the official thing locked in. Y'all was doing that for hearsay for like 8 months, bro. Y'all just wanted it for the to cut the ribbon, but you didn't actually open the building. Like, what was the point? I listen, that's beyond me, man. I literally have absolutely no idea what they was on, but they're finally doing it. So I guess that's good. I don't gotta at least they'll finally do it, man. Cause like sometimes I'll play like FIFA and stuff with some of my high school friends, and I'm like, I hate using that control. I hate PlayStation's party system. I hate it. I've always hated PlayStation's party systems. They're so trash. They're not good. Not good whatsoever. I'm sorry. I have a strong disliking for them. Every generation. Every generation I've disliked them.
All I've ever known was PlayStation Party Chat until I got a PC and I got Discord. Now I can never go
Uh,
back to anything but Discord. Like
yeah.
my cousins have PlayStations, I love them to death, but you're
Yeah.
not catching me in a I'd rather FaceTime you and play the game
bro,
than get in
bro.
a PlayStation party chat in
Bro, I've done
2023.
that. I've done that sometimes too. Not FaceTime, but like I had the PlayStation mobile app, and I'm like, bro, I'll just call you from my phone. I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
want to. I don't want
bro.
to put my controller on there and do for all these weird. Nah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
And I'm not even
Nope.
don't even get me started on being a streamer trying to use PlayStation chat because if you had the Elgato, everybody knows the vibes. You had to get the chat link cable, you had to plug that joint into the controller, plug the controller into the
Ah,
Elgato. You got to set all that up. Got to make sure it was a pain in the ass. I'm very happy with my internal Elgato capture card. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But it is a pain when you have to set up the like. There's so many things that the PlayStation just did not think about. They were kind of just like, no, we're gonna stick to this lane. And they cook in that lane. They cook. But at this point in gaming, you can't ride one lane anymore. Not at the size
facts.
that they are. Not PlayStation. They
When
cannot
every
just only be in one lane. They're too big for that.
facts. When every when you're at that size, every area of your business, every area of your product offering is going to be under scrutiny. You got to be near faultless. You know what I'm saying? Or you at least be consistently approving or consistently transparent. Like, hey, we're working on this. Don't worry, we're not perfect, but we're going to work on it. You
Yeah.
can't just half-ass nothing.
And it's becoming every year that goes by, it's becoming ever clear how the video game market is not going to have a third competitor, right? Like you have PC,
Yeah,
PlayStation, and Xbox. There will be and Nintendo, but Nintendo does its own thing.
yeah, its own
Um,
thing.
like these three companies are gonna be the three companies. So you need to understand because you're not going to compete with PC. We know that. We all know you can't compete with PC. You need to compete with your one other competitor to the best of your ability. And when you're falling behind in almost every other area but single player games, it's going to be real hard to convince the father of two who plays games to
Mm,
decompress that he should continue to buy PlayStations every generation when Xbox has cheaper services, better online experiences. Like it's just going to be really tough. Like unless you're going to come out with God of War every year, like people aren't and even if
and
you did,
that's gonna devalue the whole
yeah,
franchise. So and people aren't gonna check for it as much if you keep doing that. Let's
like
be real.
it's tough. Like you gotta diversify. But if you're not willing
Facts,
to diversify, hey, you're gonna be a secondary console, and
facts, bro. You
ain't
gotta,
nobody
you got
paying $500 for a secondary. Like I'm not paying 500 for a secondary console. Like I'm good.
I'm not, bro. You need to get in tune with the, what I'm saying, with the grass touches. You know what I'm saying? You need to balance it out. You need to balance your books for real. Cause the more you think people will just take the thing that you're not changing all the time, the more you realize like, yo, there's a larger crop of people who do not care what they end up on as long as they have fun. And then that's gonna validate the purchase more than brand loyalty. You know what I'm saying? I feel like gaming is huge. Don't get me wrong, but there's still a huge outcropping of people who are not as familiar with games and stuff like that, and who easily switch. It'll be easy for them to do it. You see it every Christmas. Oh, they wanted to play a PS5. Your grandma, she got you an Xbox. She thought it was the same shit. So it's like you guys got to figure out how to expand your effectiveness in certain areas of intangibles, or else you getting mapped out everywhere else on the score sheet by Xbox.
Yeah,
They cooking y'all somewhere everywhere else. So I mean, y'all gotta step it up.
yeah.
Man, crazy. But no more PS party chat, bro. No more PS
I'm
party chat.
good.
That's the only good thing from this, bro. All right, man. Moving on to the next story now. Hitman is dropping a brand new mode called Freelancer, which is a brand new roguelike game mode on the way January 26th. I believe we talked about this a long time ago on the podcast. We saw this mode's official reveal probably a couple of months ago, actually. As we're drawing closer, just want to get your thoughts, the experience. It's kind of like basically like a huge like kind of like a boss rush type thing where you can intel you're facing mini boss after mini boss, so you get to the big bosses at the end. If you lose certain objectives, or if you do things wrong, the whole entire run's failing. You got to restart the campaign. You have a home world, a hub base where you can set up different missions, skills, objectives, unlockables, XP for different challenges on each map. A lot of different stuff to mess around with in this. Not necessarily sandbox, but definitely again campaign style, more free mode. So how you feel about Freelancer?
I think it's very interesting. I think that is. So personally speaking, if you ever want to make a game very replayable, add a roguelike element or mode,
Yes.
and you're good to
Never
go.
going
Like
never going wrong, baby.
randomized, like look, not trying to like take anything away from Gearbox, but like that's why Borderlands is Borderlands. They did one really good mechanic that worked beautifully. Infinite number of guns that you could choose from, like it just works. So this is amazing because my biggest fear with buying Hitman always was the fact that I was like, am I gonna spend $60 on a game that I'm probably gonna beat once? I just beat
Mhm.
God of War Ragnarok. There is still a lot of stuff that I might do. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of games on this list. I'm working through my backlog. It's crazy. I really want to keep playing it, but it's very. I feel bad. But like, if you're
Right.
telling me I could have gone through, I think it's Muspelheim, the place where it's
Yeah,
like
most
all
fun.
hot.
Yeah, the trials.
Like,
Yeah.
if the trials had randomization, I think they might have had, like, a combination thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, like, that was really cool, and that's really fun. Like, if you added, like, some more, like, "Yo, we're gonna add some more different elements, roguelike things." It always makes your single player experience better. I hope they add, like I would love to see a Hitman co-op. Like, I think, like, kinda like in the vein of Payday, like, something, like, where you need coordination, because that's one thing
Listen.
that I really love about Payday is that, like, if you have like a stealth when we tried a stealth mode in when we played it in Grove, and
Mm.
like it was funny because we were just all trying to like hide and like trying to snipe people and things like that, and it was just a bunch of chaos. So I think that this is a really good step forward for giving this game more life, but
Mm.
I think that they should really tap into maybe a co-op mode. Just
Bro,
test it out, see what the
I
vibes are, because I think I could see people being like, yo, all right, we need to
I
kill these people at the same time. Three, two, bro, what happened? Oh, my
this
controller died. I didn't kill it. Come on, bro. Now the
like,
alarms are going off. Like, I think it would be fun.
it'd be two stupid ass chef costumes just walking through like a
Yeah.
whole backyard. Just listen,
Four
we're doing
bald
here.
dudes. It's just like,
Yeah,
why are four bald dudes making a deposit in this bank right now? This is very suspect.
hey, I don't know, man. It's just payday. If you want, I agree with you heavily, man. I agree. Freelancer, I think is a again really cool mode. I think Hitman is something I gotta tap into. I really love watching Hitman. I really do. But I haven't played a Hitman in a really long time. But honestly, I feel like this could be a good in for me. Just at least like tap into it, try it like here and there, especially the roguelike. It's not like I'm gonna commit to the whole story right now, even though I've watched literally the entire story of like Hitman 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, I can tap into this, get a feel for it, have some fun times on it. And I heavily, I heavily agree with the co-op thing. Listen, we need to have a whole discourse about the proper uses and proper potential of bringing co-op full scale back in gaming. Like not just a random four-player adventure, but like a dedicated it takes two level type of situation where the just mechanics are intertwined. There's a lot of different styles and things that mesh. There's just there's a lot of beauty in that, man. Again, even up to the paydays. I know Payday 3 coming back this year, so like that level of coordination and you can't get that anywhere else if it's specifically tailored. You know what I'm saying? So I would really much enjoy a Hitman co-op. I would play that all day. I would definitely dip into that. But yeah, freelancer solid, solid, man. All right, all right. Moving down the list here, we got a section we like to call the trailer show, man. Talk about more watchable media. And before we get into that, it's not even a story, but I did have to say this. I had to remind myself, bruh. Luther is coming back. If y'all have not watched Luther, watch Luther, bro. Idris Elba is that guy. Luther is already there. You don't need to worry about James Bond, bro. He is James Bond in that basically, but he kind of like got like I mean, nah, James Brown probably had a drug addiction or something, or a alcoholism thing at some point in his career. But Luther is fantastic, fantastic show. So, go watch on Netflix. It's amazing, top to bottom. And they're coming out with a movie literally in a couple months' time. I think it's in theaters in like February, and it comes out on Netflix in like March 10th. Watch Luther. Watch Luther. Watch Luther. Stop watching it, then start it again. Cool. All right, cool. All right. Let's get to the stories in the trailer trove. First and foremost, we got a new trailer and some footage ahead of the now released Velma show from Mindy Kaling on HBO Max. It's been under a lot of different polarizing opinions in my view. You know what I'm saying? Ever since the first episodes and footage of it dropped on the app. How do you feel about Velma?
Man, I do not care. Like I don't want to be an asshole. I love Scooby Doo, but I just to get me to watch an adult cartoon in 2023 is very tough. It is, especially a comedic one. It is very tough to get me to watch something like that. Um,
Mm.
Shout outs to what they're trying to do with Scooby Doo. I think it's really interesting. I don't see like the harm in it. Some people are very upset. Get over it. I'm just kind of like really whatever about the show. They kind of have just like,
Mm.
I honestly don't think it needed to be made. Like, I will agree that I don't think this needed to be a Scooby Doo spinoff. Mostly because it doesn't really feel very Scooby Doo at all. I know it's a
Mm.
Velma show, but I feel like you could have just made this show with a
Yeah.
regular, like a regular
Like a
original
regular
cast.
cast of people,
Yeah,
and it's just the same, like, just a mystery thing in that same vein.
and I think that like because they decided to do Scooby Doo, they thought it was going to like boost it, but I feel like it really
It
hurt it
hurt it.
because like
Yeah, I agree.
even like when they were like we're gonna make Shaggy black, I was like, oh, that's sick. But then like I haven't seen the show, but I was like, man, I don't know. This just doesn't look like Shaggy. Like if you
Yeah.
would have showed me Stoner uh Black Shaggy, why doesn't he have
Facts.
locks? Like I feel like like that was my big like just like I don't
Yeah,
know
I mean,
or
yeah,
dreads or
he kinda has the thing on top. Like,
he,
it's on top, but it's, like, not like, yeah, I don't know, bro, and then there was a clip where he's sending voicemails. I'm like, "Yo, Shaggy be high as shit. He don't
like
be
I
sending
don't know,
voicemails.
bro. Like
He
that's the
don't be
thing is like
sending voicemails.
in the trailer, I'm just like, this is a cool character, but it's like it
But
just doesn't
it's
scream
not
Shaggy
Shaggy.
to me,
If
right?
it's his own thing, I'm like, "Oh, cool. It's just whatever."
Right.
If it was his own entity, I feel like it'd have more standing, but the fact that you put it in a certain IP space, now people are gonna scrutinize it with the comparisons that you gave.
Yeah, and that's what's tough. You're going up against like an established fandom. You're trying to like shake up this fandom hard. Like this is a big shake up because the entire show is called Scooby Doo. There's no dog in it, and now it's called
Mhm.
Velma, which is fine. Which is fine. It's a Velma spinoff, but it's not the Velma spinoff that people probably would have liked. You know, because
Mhm.
I'm sure there's people who would have loved like regular Velma in a spinoff, but it's like, no, we're gonna give you a spinoff that's a completely. I don't know. Like I just feel like it's trying to do a
Yeah.
lot with an IP that really isn't that malleable. You know, like I feel like
Facts.
we've had so many different iterations of Scooby Doo, and we've kind of all agreed that not agreed, but like even when you see all the different versions of Scooby Doo that we've had,
You can
they
see the common thread. You can
yeah,
see the common consensus or, like, conception of what we think Scooby-Doo is, at least in all of them.
yeah, and even if you wanted to try to like just change the races of the character and give them more diversity, that's fine. But you're also missing a core integral part, which is like
Mm.
the whole gang's not there. Like some of these people don't really feel like the people that they were in the like it's just I don't know. I don't know who this
Yeah.
show is for
What's it
really.
called? And then it was like, now I'm like, the show was the show. I'm actually interested to watch the show and see what's going down so I can have like my full view. But from the footage that I saw, I'm just like, just a random question. Just random. Forgive me. Why in every show that either Mindy Kaling writes or produces, she always dating a white dude? She's dating Fred. She's dating Fred in that show. Velma's dating Fred in that show. They're together in that show. So I'm just like, I need to put my Dr. Umar hat on for a second. I'm just like, huh, I beg your pardon?
Yeah,
It's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, yeah.
it's a little crazy. It's a little, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing crazy. I'm saying it looks a little crazy. It's not crazy, but it look a little crazy.
It's I just don't know, man. Like
Uh,
I don't know who it's for. I don't know who's excited. I'm
I
definitely gonna
don't.
I'm sleeping on it
Mhm.
hard. If I'm wrong, I'll be like, if I'm wrong about it and people are like, no, that show's really funny,
I'll
I'm
put
gonna
my
be
hand up right now. I put my hand up and say it. Hey,
no, if it's really funny, it's not even on no hater shit. Even if it's really funny, I'm just really don't care. Like
no,
I'll be like,
shit.
cool, like y'all got it. Like I guess it's funny.
Facts.
I won't say it sucks. That's the most you'll get out of me. Like I won't say it sucks because if
Yeah,
you're saying it's funny, but I just don't care. Um,
yeah,
and I don't know, man. Like again, I don't think this is what the Scooby Doo fandom wanted. But
facts.
I guess maybe the Mindy fandom wanted this more. But again, I don't even
Yeah,
know. I don't know which one. I don't know who you should have marketed towards because I feel like one is more established than the other. I don't know. Y'all got it. This I'm not touching this.
yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I feel like it's like like water and oil or something like that. It's a hard thing to mix if it all mixes or it most likely doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those things where it's just like it's just one sits on top of the other, but they never really commingle, or it's gonna be tough to really get it in that form that's truly together intertwined. You know what I'm saying? Is that sometimes from my view, I don't think it's the best fit. But I listen, I don't make TV shows. I
Me
don't do all
neither.
that shit. So maybe it turns out great. I don't know. I'm willing to try it and find out. But if it is not fitting and not good, I'm gonna let y'all know. Like, I'm just saying, bro. We gonna find out about that I'm about to say date Fred situation, bro. Why is it always a white dude? Why can't you just? Never mind.
I,
Not
I'll,
gonna
you know
die.
what?
Not gonna die.
It's what, 30-minute episodes? I'll watch one episode. If you cannot hook me by the pilot, then I'm jumping off the plane. I don't need it. If the pilot can't get me, I'm jumping off the plane.
Fair, fair, bro, fair. I understand. I understand. I'm with you there. Actually, I'll watch it today. I'll watch it today while I'm eating food. I'll see what's up with it. All right, moving on. So one of the Top Gun Maverick co-stars, Glenn Powell, took to the media to provide an update on the Captain Planet movie, which this is the first I'm hearing of it, stating that the project is still live under Leo DiCaprio's production company and the script is set up already. So I mean, hey, you checking out for the Planeteers? You checking out for Captain Planet?
I don't think I'm gonna be tapping that much into it. Like, I like Captain Planet. We'll see. We'll see. I need to see more. This is an IP that I think, an old IP that I think actually would benefit from a revival. But I don't know.
I'm just
It's still iffy. It's still very iffy.
they're missing the ball if Don Cheadle is not Captain Planet. That's all I'm saying. If Don Cheadle isn't Captain Planet, I don't want it. That's all I know. It's the only thing that's in my head right now. I
That
don't
is
Glenn Powell's cool. Hats off to him, you know, say did great in Top Gun Maverick, but it's nobody else. It's nobody else for me. Oh man, you never seen that video where he was Captain Planet? I'm gonna send it to you after. I was say it was like a college skit or something. It was something on Comedy Central. Like he was Captain Planet. It was hilarious, and I need it.
interesting.
I need that in full voice. But yeah, honestly, I'm not checking for that, bro. You gotta Captain Planet in this day and age is honestly gonna be very interesting take.
But I think it's also something that's very needed in this day and age.
Like,
Like, if we need a
true,
Captain Planet,
true.
it's now.
It's probably right now. You're not gonna lie, it's probably right now. You got motherfuckers like Andrew Tate with 8 cars, you know what I'm saying, talking up to teenage people before they getting arrested, talking about I got like 18 gas guzzlers in the back, we lit. And then all these people in the pipeline talking about, oh yeah, that out here, we lit too, bro. I got my mom's Corolla. I'm running it right now. Like, yeah, nah, we need Captain Planet back. You right. You got a point. You got a point, man. On Al Gore's internet, you might be correct. Anyways, moving forward, as the Last of Us show is set to drop this Sunday, we got a couple of comments in the lead up from Bella Ramsey, aka Ellie, in the HBO adaptation, and she stated that she was advised to avoid playing the game and watch any source material, but she still circumvented that and watched gameplay in secret to get a taste of the IP. Now, this is coming after we heard word of that canon change of spores to tendrils in the main catalyst for that zombie outbreak in the HBO version. And some people were taking offense to it. Some people were like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. It's not the same show, blah, 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 getting all up in arms about it. Just I want to know your thoughts and why do studios decide against viewing source material?
So I think that this comes down to just a. I think some people are too hands-on with IPs. I think a lot of people are a lot of like directors really want to have control over everything. Same thing happened with the first X-Men movies, is that a lot of the cast was told not to read the comics for their own real reasons. Hold on one second. Sorry, my
Favorite
mother
reason.
needed my mother needed to grab a bag.
You good.
Timing. But anyways, so back to what I was saying. At the end of the day, like, some directors want to have control over like what they're doing. And I understand that. I get it. I 100% understand it, because when you're a director, especially how hard it is to be a director, you kind of have your vision. You want to do it to the best of your ability. However, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that's really kind of the biggest problem with a lot of video game adaptations and video game related things, at least in the earlier days, is that you will have directors who think this story is a good idea and they can bring it to life. But with video games, especially something like Last of Us, it's already alive. It's been alive. It is not a book adaptation. These things are living, breathing things. I can go right now and look up Last of Us movie, and it'll show me all the cutscenes of The Last of Us Part 1. And I'll be able to experience this story for myself. So if you have a show that is trying to do that same experience, you have to go up against that. And I understand being like, I don't want you to play the games because we're not doing what the games are doing. But if you're not doing what the games are doing to that extent where you don't want any kind of reference, then I don't think you should be making a Last of Us uh TV show,
Mm,
especially following the game. I think it should be its own entity. I think it should be an entirely it could be in the universe, but it just doesn't need to be it doesn't need to have Joel or Ellie in it if you wanted to do something completely different.
mm,
And that's where I think a lot of the disconnect is. That's the scariest part about this is that, like, for example, League of Legends, you don't have Jinx and Vi stories in cutscene format. Like, you have to
mm,
like go read it in lore. So when they made Arcane, they just brought what's in the book. They just brought what's in the lore to life, and that's why it worked.
mm.
Sonic, very similar. There's no real story in Sonic
Yeah,
One. Like, it's
should
just
just
beating up an
him
old dude.
running and shit.
Exactly. Like,
Facts.
when you want, and I understand the wanting the control, but when you take the control, it's really, really tough when it's not what people wanted. Like, I don't know, man. I personally would have told them to play the games. But again, I'm not they didn't ask me to direct this movie. They didn't. They really didn't. They never called me. I promise you that. I that's one thing I'm very sure about. They did not ask me to do this movie
Not
or the
not
show.
voicemail, nothing.
Nothing.
No voicemail.
Not even a WhatsApp, bro. Like, I didn't get nothing from these people. And
Damn.
I really hope for the best, but if you don't respect the source material, you're gonna get a rock in Doom situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts. Ugh. Fuck.
you don't
Yeah.
want that, man. You don't want that. You gotta respect the
Ah.
source material because the people you're trying to capture are the people who are a fan of that. And it's not like a
Mm,
book where, like, if I watch the Hunger Games, I might not read the book. I might just wait for the movies to come out.
mm.
But I could play a video game. Video games are fun. People like playing video games. I can go play Last of Us if I really wanted the whole story. Like, it's a lot more accessible because people don't like to read, but people do like to play games. So,
Yeah.
hey, it's your bed, bro. Just be aware when once you make
Yeah.
it, you don't have to sleep
True.
in it.
Very true. Very true. And it's like a mixed bag for me, especially with this situation, because I believe that they are going to do a good job with this with the Last of Us series. I think they're going to actually this will be probably one of the best adaptations we got for a video game ever. I think it'll be up there. It'll be top 3 or top 5 in my opinion, just off the strength of how much care and involvement the original team has had, and just that pipeline seems very well sought after and well cared after. Um, the thing about that determination of, again, I think I agree with you. It's kind of like the director's choice of what they want and having more control over the direction and how certain people are portrayed on screen. But I would argue that having that basis of IP and source material in your repertoire, like if you know the game, you know what directions that you can take it. If you have that bounce pad and foundation, you can be able to put your own strokes of color on it and add to it in a certain way to make it your own. That's what actors do. That's why actors go on Broadway and they play Hamlet. They do Hamlet all the other time. There's been 80 different Hamlets on Broadway in probably the last like 5 years. They all add their own strokes of color onto it. They do the same monologues a different way. They have the same, manner. They do the same mannerisms and intentions and directions, but they add their own personal touch to it. So why can't that be the case for video games? Why does it have to be from a scratch or from your determination rather than a combination of that plus what the actor feels of how they will respond in that situation? What would they make different? What would they tweak? What would they make the same? There's I think there's that argument to be had there. And I feel like, it might stem from the fact that maybe video games aren't as respected as a medium in comparison to others, or maybe from other professionals. Maybe they think it's, good stories that are there, but maybe they aren't as developed as movies or anything like that. There could be a lot of things there. I'm not going to assume anything of film directors because they have multifaceted. A lot of people are humans, and people could be playing video games and love video games in the film industry, especially on that project. So I'm not going to assume that. But still, I feel like there's a level of, this is two different things, and we think that you need to do this, this, and this to ensure it's successful in this, where maybe they don't have to have video game IPs and source material under such scrutiny. Because look what happened with the Halo show. You could put that as example number one, probably like a Public Enemy number one. The man took his mask off, his helmet off in episode 1, the first episode, the very first one. He was getting coochie like episode 4 or 5. Like, Master Chief don't listen. I'm not even saying that to be like a you know what I'm saying, like a weird nigga, bro. Like I'm touching grass. Listen, life is life. I'm touching grass, but like, bro, Master Chief, all this nigga does is talk to Cortana and shoot shit. That's all he does. That's all he does. Like literally all he does.
That's why he's Master Chief, because that's what made him cool. It's like he's not Kratos getting coochie in episode 4. It makes sense. It's Kratos. Of
That
course,
we get it. I get it
we
personally.
got that. But
Yeah.
Master Chief deadass is like, I'll wake up for violence. Like that's what made them up. He was Doom guy, just less angry. He was more focused. That's what I
Facts.
always envisioned it. And like he has his own personality. But yeah, when I heard that he
Facts.
took his helmet off, I was like, oh, I don't even gotta watch episode 1. I don't even gotta watch this shit. That thank you. I saved me some time.
And it's like because they had an active thing on that set. I remember reading that report on the podcast. They were like, "Yo, they don't read the source. They didn't read any of the source material for that. They just kind of went off their own direction and what the producers and the execs said on set." So I was like, "Well, there you go. There's that. That makes sense." And it puts people in a weird spot. Why I think the rule, the instance of the rule here, I don't think is going to be as bad because you have Neil Druckmann heavily involved in the project. You have a lot of PlayStation execs and stuff heavily infused in the project, so there's not going to be too much leeway with it. And Bella Ramsey herself said she looked at the game anyway, so it was like, what I'm saying, the real ones know they're just going to find out the information for themselves to get that reference. So it is what it is. So I don't think it's going to be uh, I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy. I don't think it's gonna be any crazy deviation from what we've seen in the games. In my opinion, I think it'll be a good, uh, just again a good stroke of color that's different from what we already have and what we see in our minds. Again, even the spores and tendrils thing. Many people were like, oh yeah, this game, this show's ruined. It's gonna be bad. I know they're changing everything. Da, 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 da. I'm like, bro, it's just a difference in how they get infected, and literally
I'm
they
not.
made the logical somebody made the logical point on Twitter, like, bro, spores are spores. Everybody would just have to wear a mask if it was spores, but tendrils is like a different thing. Logically, it made sense in my head. I was like, oh, well, then that's fine. Who cares? We can just take off the mask. We can see people's faces and their expressions throughout the series.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I remember maybe 3 missions where like it was yo mask on, no
Yeah, you
like
had to
yeah
wear a mask. Yeah,
yeah,
with
but
in the hives.
it wasn't all that crazy. Like
Mhm.
the show could have never even shown it, and we would have been like, oh,
Facts.
that's fine because like again there was like 2 or 3 even in part 2 there was like 1 or 2 missions that I can remember off the top of my head. And the reason I'm saying that there might have been more, but if I can't remember them, it's probably because it wasn't nothing really crazy happened. You wanna know why? Because they were masked up, quiet, because they were surrounded by clickers. So y'all want to see people walking around on their knees for an hour? Go for it, bro. I'm cool
Mm,
with whatever else. Like that's not that big of a deal.
Tweaking. Tweaking. But yeah, I think in the case of this, Last of Us will be fine. Last of Us will be fine because they have enough support around it. But generally speaking to the rule, I think that definitely needs to change. I think there needs to be at least some pathway for actors and people who are involved in the project to look at the source material and see what works, what doesn't, what they would like to bring to the table and add. So there's that you don't going with no bounce pad with no foundation is already going to be a very scary jump. You know what I'm saying? It's a very scary leap if you don't have any footing. So having that basis of where to go, at least figuring out what's been done, you can start to plot out what hasn't been done and what you can do within the bounds of that source material or even a little bit out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? Like you can find the pathway, but if you're doing it without no basis of source material, especially for the actors, I feel like that can take away some really, really cool moments where you blend what people saw from reference and what you can add to it in application of the show.
Facts.
Yeah, yeah. So that's I'm about to say that's that. Going on to some crack news, baby. Crack alert. Crack alert. That's what I heard. We got some news within a Collider interview from director and lead on the Batman and upcoming related projects in the Batman universe. Matt Reeves. He's back on the pod, baby. And he stated he's knee deep in the sequel script. And he made note of the emphasis that he wanted to continue to keep on Bruce Wayne as the world expands. Now, he had a quote that came with it. I'm going to, I'm saying, dive into it here. Matt Reeves said, and I quote, to me, the thing that I really feel is that I also believe that Rob Pattinson is so special in the role. My goal has always been to do these point of view stories that allow the character to always be the emotional center of the story. Because a lot of times what happens is after you do the first one, then suddenly other rogues gallery characters come in and they kind of take over. and then Batman takes a back seat, sort of character wise or emotionally. And there was also some news, end quote. There was also some news on the Penguin spinoff show. As Reeve stated that the show is going to serve as a direct lead-in for the sequel and the stage setting for how the world is changing. With Colin Farrell, of course, as the Penguin. Thoughts on the quote, the emotional centering of Batman, the Penguin show, all stuff in the Batman verse. When
I think it's cool. I think it's really cool, dope. I'm still holding my breath, just because like the Batman came out, amazing movie, really good movie, probably one of my favorite movies of that year, of last year. But I'm still waiting because even though Matt Reeves is cooking, it's WB. They have not held on to something good in a long time. Their most successful thing right now is Harry Potter, and we all know how that's going. Uh, it's just very tricky over there, man. Like it's very tricky. So I don't think James Gunn will do anything. I think James Gunn knows that this is our gonna be our anchor. We need to keep this going because this is what's gonna keep us afloat.
afloat, literally alive.
But I don't even think like I know that James Gunn and the homie, I never remember his
Yeah,
name,
Peter Safran.
Peter Safran, um, are doing everything they can to make this good. But I still feel like there's people behind the scenes that we don't know about that have their hands and don't want to remove it because that's just how it felt with a lot of DC stuff. Is that everybody who leaves that place is always like, I wanted to do this, but they wouldn't let me. And like we always hear about
Mm,
cool shit that could have happened, but they're like they wouldn't let
facts,
me. Like look at all the movies
facts.
that got canceled for no
Facts
real
canceled.
reason that
We
got that
we
were
we
done.
see we seeing Batman footage, our Batgirl footage come out like today. There was like a bunch of stunt footage that came out. I'm like, damn, bro, like this
Would have
all
been
this stuff that
sick.
came through.
You could have let us know. We could have decided if that shit was gonna suck. And that's the thing that was
Mm,
annoying is that like people be like, well, it's gonna suck anyways. Like, bro, we do not know that. You would
yeah,
know. We do not know that.
facts. People was clamoring when that Deadpool test footage came out like years and years ago. And then
Like,
somebody said everybody was like loving that joint. And it was like, yo, let's do it. And then they made it based off of the reception of that field test, of that footage test. So what you want?
yeah,
Like it's crazy, man. But to me, crack, crack, crack rock, crack shipments, crack bags, nickel bags, dime bag, just however many, you know what I'm saying, wrap it up, plastic, saran wrap, crack. Batman is I think Matt Reeves has proven himself time and time again to really get it when it comes to certain movies, especially sagas. Again, the Planet of the Apes is my prime example. Again, I didn't give a singular fuck about any of the Planet of the Apes. But as soon as I watched that first one, I was like, okay. Second one, oh, third one, ah. And he has immediately become one of my favorite, directors, honestly, in terms of the game. Just he I think he gets how to shape a story over the span of multiple movies and multiple projects. I think he's definitely held a grasp on what Batman he can be in certain aspects. You know what I'm saying? There's of course everybody's gonna have their stance on what their favorite Batman is in live action. That's cool. I personally think this is the best showing so far. I'm not saying this trilogy's done because you know what I'm saying his the Battinson's run isn't done yet, but I think this is one of the best starts because of how the character is focused and the fact that he notices that pattern of when more characters get added in, they're not so much that focused. Things don't happen around them. Other characters step into the foray. You know what I'm saying? Like again, the Dark Knight Joker situation. Do not take anything away from that because that's literally one of the greatest performances, one of the greatest movies probably of all time. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that Batman took a back seat heavily in that movie. He got upstage heavily in that movie. There wasn't nobody was really checking for him. Everybody's looking for them Joker scenes. You know what I'm saying? Joker scenes with Batman, cool. Joker scene, Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like
people forget that Two Face was in that movie.
you forget that he was in there, bro, and he was the end. He was the ending. He was literally the person he went to after Joker.
Yeah,
Like and there's a lot of there's a lot of variables that could really easily take your eye off the ball in terms of what's going on. And I feel like keeping the focus, especially on Batman, and having that point of view perspective, like he said, is super super key. And I feel like that's gonna really bring a different level of intimacy and a different level of danger to it. Because I feel like if you constantly figure out what's going through Batman's head or his perspective as all these characters are coming in, instead of just you're getting their introduction and then more exposition and more big world stuff and more, you got to talk to this person, not the intimate thoughts process of Batman. Like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, yo, Mr. Freeze is calling some bullshit. Who is this guy? And going through that process in his head, in Batman's head, I feel like we're missing out on like, deeper layers of just enjoyment of a story. And he to me, it seems like Matt Reeves gets it. You know what I'm saying? He gets it. Everybody else involved in it gets it. DC, again, I will say this every time this man's name comes up. Do not touch it. I promise you, there will be hell to pay. Do not touch it. Don't touch anything that has to do with this. Penguin show, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fired too, because Colin Farrell's amazing. Literally, I have no doubts that that will be a pretty decent show as well. And listen, if you see me out when his media run is there, and I'm in a whole black suit, something if you see me, mind your business. That's all. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And the last bit of the trailer trove here. Uh listen, let's just there's not even enough words to say it, so I just gotta say this, man. Ant-Man Quantumania trailer. Let's talk about it one.
It looked really sick. I usually, again, do not watch Ant-Man trailers, but like I said in my reaction videos, I know my timeline, and I know that once a trailer of Marvel comes out, I have approximately 4 minutes before it gets spoiled for me. So as soon as
Charles, maybe.
yeah, shout out to Charles. We love Charles. As soon as that came out, I was like, let me go ahead and record this reaction. And it came out at night, right? Like it came out at night.
I,
Um,
I don't know if I think it was a morning. I think it was a morning a couple of days ago.
I think because for me, I think I saw people talking about it at night. I could be wrong, but I remember
Let
doing
me
it that morning, either that next morning or if it came out in the morning that same morning. Because I did not want it to get spoiled for me. It was really good. I'm actually not a big fan of. I mean, not a big fan. I like Ant-Man. I was just not
Mm.
like super excited for another Ant-Man movie because I wasn't a big fan of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but all in
Yeah.
all, it actually looks pretty exciting. I like Paul Rudd. Fucking Jonathan Majors is gonna kill that role. We all know that. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens.
Hey man, plenty of time for me to buy this kufi when I go into that movie theater, boy. It's about to get lit. Oh, 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 oh. That's my only comment. Oh, oh, oh. This nigga, Ant-Man about to get his shit mixed. Oh, 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 oh. It's it's over, man. It's over. This man been sitting in the quantum realm, just chilling the whole time, building up his army from I don't know where. I don't know when. Maybe he went through it and added people through timelines before he destroyed them. I'm thinking of too much stuff in my head as it's going on. I'm just like, yo, how did he get all this army, all this stuff? I feel like he just been prepping in the quantum realm, just chilling. And the old Miss Van Dyne, she knows. She like, yeah, nah, I had to get out of here. I had to dip out of here, to be honest. And there's a lot of variables going on of what's happening, but I will say I am very excited to see all of the protagonists get their ass whooped. I've never been this excited to see, what I'm saying, people get their ass whooped like this in a very, very long time. Like, I need to see him winning. I need to see him he needs to accomplish whatever he needs to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, I hope he finds whatever he's looking for. I don't know if it's Ravana, I don't know if it's the chair, I don't know, whatever it is. You need to make sure he gets there and just disappears for a couple movies. I just want to smash and grab. I just want this cold introduction, and then I want everybody to be in fear for like a whole like 6 months, just pure fear because you don't know where he is right now. That's all. That's all I want, man. I just want a good, nice, clean intro to how deep and how devastating Kang is because he's a dog. He's a dog, and I don't think people is getting that. And it's cool. You go and find out, man. Jonathan Majors, you see it, man. From when he was He Who Remains, you can see just the shades of just how ominous this dude can be as a character. I think he's gonna again deliver an absolutely immaculate performance as the big bad of this next phase. I'm really interested to see how again just some of the dynamics between again like again Ant-Man and all these characters. Again, normally a whimsical type movie, I think shit go hit the fan very quickly.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit the fan very very quickly, and I think we did talk about this beforehand, but this is a direction where I would love. I'm loving that we're going this way, making it a bit more like, hey, yo, all this time you was laughing and joking. You can have a little keys, but it's really go time when it's me. It's really go time when it's Kang in the building. So I enjoy that direction change and that tonal shift. Maybe we'll get it in a decent part of the movie. February cannot come fast enough. I am here on Black History Month. We getting Kang? Yeah, I'm here. Sign me up. All right, listen. When them tickets go on sale, I'm booking it now, bro.
I was
Already.
actually just looking. They're not on sale yet, at least not in
Ah,
my area.
ah. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But yeah, that's fire, man. Shout out to Quantumania, bro. Kangamania. We was Kangs. We was stand. All right, moving on to the last stories of this week here. We got a little bit of information concerning PlayStation's exclusive sci-fi third-person shooter from the creators of Gears of War Judgment and Outriders. No word on any reveals, as they seem to be very early in development. I believe their studio name is People Can Fly. Thoughts on them taking another crack at a first-person shoot or first-party shooter, rather.
So I'm assuming that it would be like a PvP type vibe.
I
Um,
would assume. I think I would assume so. They would have some type of component since the Gears of War Judgment folks are on it. I feel like it'd be big enough. It's gonna be that expansive. I think there's gotta be some type of element to it.
because I'm just scared of getting another Outriders. That's kind of just like my biggest fear. Like these are the people who made Outriders, and Outriders is very similar to Gears. So for them to drop a new IP, I I don't want to assume that it will be the same. It'll be in the same spirit. But if it's in the same spirit, y'all can keep it. I
Exercise that.
like
You could you
y'all,
could
y'all got it. I'm not like
be gone, demon.
I don't want to be mean to the Gears community, but I
Gears ain't been popping since like
bro,
Gears ain't been
Gears
popping since 3 to be keeping a bean.
I haven't been like, man, I want to play Gears of War in a long ass time. I played a little bit of it, but like it's just
Yeah.
it's just
I
not
played
hitting like it
yeah,
is.
I think I played the latter end of 2, but I really got into it when it was 3 because I had my friends were playing. I'm like, yo, this is actually hard. I really like the game, but Judgment was
I played 4 and I played 5. It's not bad multiplayer, but it's like
it
it's
just
not the
took a
shit that I
hit.
want. Yeah.
It just took the hit after Judgment, man. It never recovered. It never recovered after Judgment.
Yeah, so like I think I don't know. If it's another cover based shooter like that, I'm kind of good. If it's
Mm.
like if it's like an MMO Destiny type vibe, I'm definitely good. We don't need any more of those. Like I don't know, man. Y'all gonna have to come out with something very different and fun. And I think you can. I think there's space, but y'all gotta be creative. I'm not playing another Gears. I'm not playing another cover based shooter like Gears. I'm sorry. I'm good. I already played it.
Yeah.
I already felt that experience. I'm good.
I ain't gonna lie. And this is the craziest thing, bro. I feel like they're gonna they brought in Bungie to like try and get shore some stuff up, but they said Bungie is not gonna be anything exclusive, so that's tough. Unless it's a whole nother complete game that Bungie's making is gonna be a shooter that's there. It hit me that yeah, like obviously shooters are really a problem for Sony, bro. They don't have nothing first party in their shooter. I feel like that's why I mean again, part of the reason why they crying so hard that Call of Duty might be going that way. It's like they don't have no shooter department. They don't really have nothing. Like
Yeah.
solidly theirs. Like Xbox has Halo, you know what I'm saying? Like Nintendo has Splatoon. We'll count that. We don't count that, you know what I'm saying? But Sony really don't got nothing when it comes to shooters.
No.
And shooters again in the consumer market because shooters is again probably one of the biggest genres, if not the biggest genre. You know what I'm saying? Third person, mainly first person, but that's what rakes in a lot of money these days. So and they weak here. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're grasping at straws trying to get something together.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I could see them, but that's the problem with them is that they're trying to do things in house. I don't I don't know what shooter people are gonna really gravitate to that isn't on PC. Like that's just
Facts,
end of day. There's no popular shooter that isn't on PC right now.
factuals.
Like it just doesn't. I'm not touching a control. I'm not playing a shooter on a controller. Like there's no reason for me to play a shooter on a controller. The only person that would probably argue with this is Degis because and I would understand Splatoon is a very different
But
beast.
that's a
Yeah,
niche one. Yeah,
that is a very
that's very
different
niche.
beast.
Yeah.
But there's no shooter that we've mentioned on this podcast or that even I played that I'm like, this is so much better on controller, except for Gears of War. And again, that I wouldn't even put Gears of War in the same level as Splatoon in terms of popularity.
Mm.
Like, there is no real controller shooter that I'm excited for. So honestly, what PlayStation should have did would have been the smart move is make some moves with EA and really lock down Apex as a PlayStation experience better than anything else. Because then you still have the
True.
crossplay, you still have all that stuff, but like it just doesn't. I don't know. They can't make this game good enough for me to want to play a shooter on a controller. It just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it, bro. You said Gears of War Judgment and Outriders, bro. If any two shooters, you said two of the most underwhelming shooters that have come out in possibly the last decade. Like, come on, man. Come on, dog. Really? We gonna start with that? We're gonna come with the outset and say that? No. I'm not with it. I'm not with it, bro. Like, if you would at least said maybe one of the Call of Duty games, I would have been like, oh, okay, maybe you got some devs who know fast paced gameplay. At least you got that basis down, cool. It might be interesting. But then you just said that, bro. You just said the cover, folks. Like, come on, man. I'm a-okay. I'm a-okay. And Sony, maybe you just again have to fall into the outsourcing bag and really grab something. Honestly, I think there was a time where, like, when they were competing head to head, and if they lost Call of Duty, I thought they were gonna go for Battlefield. I think they were like, yo, Battlefield can't even compete. Like, I think this was during the a few months ago during these arguments of, like, oh yeah, like there's still other shooters on the market, and Sony was like, nah, Battlefield ain't cutting it. We want Call of Duty. I'm like, dang, you right, you sold Battlefield out like that. They didn't even take shots at nobody. I mean, it's crazy, but apparently, I think they're still going to have this hole in a shooter space for a very long time unless they outsource, pick something up, or
The
figure it out themselves. But I think that last point is going to be the very end of time if that happens.
the only people that can actually help them in this scenario of needing a good shooter is EA. And I know what you're thinking. When is
Yeah,
saying EA makes good shooters?
yeah.
No, EA has the rights to good shooters, and that's what you need. You need to go in there, say, "Hey, Mr. EA, once you're done robbing people, can you let us pay Respawn to make Titanfall 3?" And then we're in a conversation. Then you're like, "Whoa, Titanfall, that's a big name shooter. That's the sleeping giant." But EA likes money and PlayStation doesn't like parting with it. So
Mm.
PlayStation will make Outriders 2 Electric Boogaloo, and it's going to be in the bargain bin. And I'm going to walk into GameStop and be like, "Damn, didn't this game just come out? Anyways, can I get a copy of Fire Emblem Engage, please?" Like, that's how that's going to go.
No, not Boogaloo. Bro, not the Boogaloo. Oh man. Oh, listen, Sony is they got
Oh
some work
wait,
to do, man.
they have Destiny, but Destiny isn't a I
Yeah,
mean, that's not a
they said they
shooter.
weren't making it exclusive. They weren't
They
making it
weren't.
exclusive.
But
The
that's not
only that's why I would say the only other option is if they have Destiny make it, or Bungie make a completely new shooter. That's the only other way I can see them doing it. And I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna be. I
yeah.
don't know how that's gonna work. It's gonna look too much like Destiny, or what I'm saying? Do they got the still? Does
Do you
Bungie
think
still have
they
that
have
old, like, they
yeah.
got the mojo? Do they get the mojo still? You know what I'm saying? Can they put it into something else that's not like a whole expansive type thing? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know,
I,
man. I think
I don't.
Bungie makes it really because Destiny is fun as hell. It is a very fun game, but it's
It's a
not
good
a
experience, but
yeah.
is it the FPS that they want that will compete with something like a Call of Duty?
But do you think Call of Duty will be exclusive?
No, it won't. But Xbox will still get money from it.
True, but but that's what I'm saying is that Destiny doesn't have to be exclusive. PlayStation will still get
Yeah,
money from it, but I don't think Destiny is on the same
true.
wavelength as
No, no,
Call
no,
of
no, no.
Duty.
I'm not saying no, no, no. I'm not saying they kind of commandeer that stuff, because Bungie said they're never going to do that. Bungie said they're never going to give the rights to getting their shit.
Right,
I'm talking
right,
about
right.
if Bungie makes a whole new shooter
Oh,
in conjunction with PlayStation, because
uh,
I know they said they have a lot of projects that they want Bungie involved in, and I think one of them will be a shooter. So I'm
right.
like, that could be the answer to their problems, and in the interim, we're getting that this other thing that we're not paying attention. We don't care about. Whatever. It's over there. It's over there in the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah, yeah.
But that Bungie game, I'm like, if they really wanted to do it, do they have the juice to make something in the vein of like a Halo, something like that's fast paced hitting, first person shooter first, primarily the gunfight type thing instead of just the experience of something like a
Mhm.
Bungie or a Destiny, rather. So that's the question. I think it's more so they're banking on Bungie to make something crack. To be real, I think it's that, like, they're gonna explore all their options. They're gonna do whatever they can. They're bringing in the B team, C team. But when it comes to making a top tier thing that can probably perform in the stead of missing out on Call of Duty and having it exclusive on a PlayStation thing with all the perks and stuff. Is it possible? I feel like they're trying to make something happen.
Would you think they would ever tell Guerrilla Games to make another Killzone?
No,
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I think it would be
they're
interesting. But I
Gorilla
don't.
Gorillas Gorillas too far locked into the Horizon pipeline. That's
Yeah.
that would be a last resort. If you see Killzone, that means they have fully exhausted the Horizon pipeline. There's no Horizon 3 coming, there's no DLC, there's nothing. All that stuff is dead, and they're like, yo, just go make another Killzone, man. Just go make another Killzone, man. We need something, anything at this point. That means that they're exhausting all their options if they bring back Killzone. Because
Hmm.
it's been almost a decade since Killzone, Shadowfall? Like it's been like 8 years.
Yeah, it's since the PlayStation 4 drop.
It's been like 8 years since Shadowfall dropped. And Shadowfall cheeks, you know what I'm saying? Chickadee cheeks. But and then nothing. We've heard nothing about anything, not even a speck of Killzone. So if you hear about Killzone coming up in the future, that means it was either a very, very measured and considered decision, or they're just running out of options.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Mm-mm. Crazy, crazy. All right, moving down the line here. The good folks over at Nixie Gaming have unveiled a brand new controller for Nintendo Switch named the Wizard Wireless Joypad, which bears a lot of similarity to the GameCube controller scheme. If you see it, has some interchangeable parts and it has a lot of billing that there's no stick drift on the product from the developer. So, I mean, did you catch this controller out in the wild? When do you see it?
Yeah, I did see it. It actually looks really interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. My Switch, like, I got a Pro controller for my Switch. Can I recommend it? I guess. Not a bad controller. Does this controller look way better than like does the new controller look way better than this? Oh hell yeah. If you're
Mm,
primarily Switch controllers, I haven't touched this controller. If they would like to send me one to review, I would gladly accept it. But I think that it's pretty sick. If you're somebody who plays on the Switch a lot, I think it is very, very useful, especially if you're somebody who plays Smash and things like that. Because I know I have a friend who played Smash competitively. He breaks his sticks consistently. Not like even on like some I spike it. Like when these people play Smash and they get like grabbed, the speed at which
mhm.
they spin that stick is insane.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so things tend to break. I think this is a really good call to get a better Switch controller. I love mine. Mine has not done me wrong, but I also do not use mine. He just uses his all the time.
Yeah,
He has like steel sticks because of how much that man uses it. So something like
yeah.
this where it's really funny because we had the Elite Xbox controller, which is like this guy right here. We had the Elite Xbox controller, then we had the
Mhm.
Elite PlayStation 5 controller. Now we got
Yeah.
Elite Switch controllers. Why don't I just make good controllers off rip? But anyways, I guess that's not the point.
Yeah,
We're not, yeah, that's not.
asking the real questions
Yeah.
here. You know, if they're
uh,
gonna silence us. They're gonna silence
you
us.
know
You
what I'm
better,
saying? They're gonna big controllers gonna put me down. Like I'm gonna be.
crazy.
They're gonna hang me with a PS2 controller. I'm gonna be hanging off the tree like. Like they gonna get me.
Hey man, listen, it's crazy. He did that to himself.
Like
You know what I'm
this.
saying? Nintendo's issuing statements like, "Yeah, man, it's crazy what happened to him, man. I don't know."
we
Like, what do you mean?
we hate to see it, but you know sometimes when you play in this business, you get scuffed, and it's like yo, wait, it's like yo, why is this a mob movie? Oh man.
When you're hilarious, bro. You're hilarious. Oh my gosh, hilarious.
Thank you. I try.
That
Um,
was fantastic. That was bars, baby. That was bars. Oh
but
my god.
it looks really good. I hope if I get my hands on it, it'd be sick. I just can't validate buying a pro play Switch controller because I don't play on my
Yeah.
Switch as often.
Yeah, I would like to have a pro controller just as backup because I know eventually I want to use it for one because I don't know how I feel about the Joy Cons. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like my hands are too big for the Joy
Oh,
Cons. So
to be quite transparent, I think everybody should own something other than the Joy Cons. I think if you're going to
yeah,
be
them
playing on your
joints are
Switch at any kind of capacity outside of handheld, I only use my Joy Cons if I'm playing on handheld. I promise you,
yeah,
I don't like
yeah,
to unless I'm playing with friends. Like I use my Pro controller for that. I think anything above the Joy Cons is good, but for somebody like me who already bought a Pro controller, buying a second one, very doubtful that I will.
yeah, yeah. Nah, I'll probably save it for just having having that extra, and if I'm sitting down having it docked or something like that,
Like
because yeah,
you
I don't
would
know,
benefit for something like this, but I already
mm,
bought a controller. I'm not buying a second one.
yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into it because I always fuck with the GameCube controller. GameCube controller is dope, so I about to say throw it to me. I about to say so. I'm in. Oh yeah, I'm interested. It looks good though. It looks good. Shout out to them. Shout out to Nixie for putting that out. Moving on here, we got some interesting word from the Last of Us head honcho Neil Druckmann in an interview with the Washington Post as he spoke on how much he enjoyed the format of storytelling from Elden Ring, stating, "quote Games that trust their audience to figure it out, that don't hold your hand. That's the stuff I'm intrigued by going forward." Now, thoughts on the quote, the style, and potential shift that we might be seeing in maybe a future Last of Us game, a future Naughty Dog game, future, whatever in the culture. How do you feel about that?
Um, I actually don't like Elden Ring storytelling whatsoever.
I remember you
Um,
talking about this. Well, go ahead.
I'm not a big fan of it. And I'm sure that fucking the most smartest community ever created, who absolutely is never wrong about anything in their lives, will say you just don't get it. No, I get it. Like I gotta go walk and find people and find the lore. I think having to find the
Mm,
story is boring. I think having to go like making my story is one thing. Finding the story is kind of very eh. And the reason I say this is just because like when I played Elden Ring, there weren't many cutscenes in it. Like it was just a lot of people talking, great voice acting performances. I will not take that away from anybody.
mm,
Um, but a lot of it is like my half naked character standing in front of this lady, and she's like talking very, very poetically. It's wonderful, but she's just also kind of just standing there. Um, and it's like it's hard for me to sit there and be like, this is a great storytelling experience when like Kratos will like go to sleep and then they use the lighting to
mm,
transition to a different fucking time where he's having a dream and shit. And it's like, whoa, this is nuts. Like Kratos putting his knife down and then Atreus picking it up in a different scene and it's starting something new. Like that's fucking heat. Like nobody, you can't tell me that that first scene meeting Thor isn't
crack,
one of the most epic starts to
crack,
a game in general. And you're
crack.
addicted now. Now you have to finish this. I can't name an Elden Ring boss outside of Marguerite. Like, and those scenes were cool.
Radagon.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
But or and
No, I'm saying, I mean, but go.
and the chick with the long sword. Like,
Yeah,
it's
Millennia.
cool. It's dope. But it's easy to miss, and that's why
Mm,
I don't really like the storytelling. Um,
mm.
and I guess that's hard mode storytelling for you. You need it. You need to go find it yourself. You need to stop being a casual and expecting the story to tell itself. It's super awesome. It's amazing. It's such that's the way everything should be done. Um, and it's cool, and I get why people like it. I love the game again. Like I really love this game. It's just not really my favorite thing about it. It's
Mm,
definitely not having to find people stand there with
mm,
my weird character, listen to them,
mm.
going and saving so that they will move or do something so that I could go find them again to continue this quest line. It's just not. It's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually on the other side of that. Honestly, I very much enjoy both modes of storytelling. I mean, again, we're kind of it's just a comparison of God of War Ragnarok to Elden Ring. I very much enjoyed how both sides delivered their story. Uh for one, I will say God of War Ragnarok, gripping narrative. It has to keep you centered. It has to keep you, very much on the track so you can experience everything that they're throwing at you. You know what I mean? So they're giving the stimuli, they're giving you everything as you go along on this track, and they want you to feel it. And there's extra, additions of color and everything like that on top of the story. The more you explore, so there's those kind of off the track moments where you get those little extra things like Kratos just telling his son, "Hey, listen, I just want to spend time with you, dog."
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
little things like that. It's like you don't really necessarily pick up on automatically, but if you do those extra things on the side, you'll see those extra additions that add layers to the story.
Yes.
And I feel like it was Elden Ring did that, but they removed the initial track in the first place.
Yeah.
So having that, you can go through the story, you can do whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? You figure out how to get to the next point A to point B, but that in between moments is what adds extra layers to whatever you do. So like I unlocked a different ending completely to some other people. Like when I finished my playthrough, some people never saw that ending, and I was
Right.
like, bro, really? You never really like did that stuff? And like there was a whole set of quests. Like you can get attached to characters differently. Elden Ring gave so much room. They had so much expansive ways to get involved in the story as a singular character. Like there's so much you could. I think you find favoritism, you find choices in everything. You know what I mean? It's just like that way to move, and it's different, very very different from how God of War operates. And I personally, you know what I'm saying, love. I cannot tell you how much I love God of War Ragnarok, and I love how it was developed in Elden Ring, how they made that story, how they built that story up. Because I could care about a whole different set of characters that you didn't even care about, that you didn't even see.
Right.
Like there was the pot guy, the big it was Alexander.
I
Alexander,
think so. The
I believe it
guy
was
who found
Alexander.
like the kid, he had like kids around him or whatever. Or no, wait, you take him out of the ground, right?
Yes, you
Yeah,
you
yeah, when
literally
you
hit
first
him
meet
out
him.
of the ground,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't and I didn't meet him when you first hit him out the ground.
yeah,
I
yeah,
literally didn't. I met him somewhere in the midway. I met him at when I went to go fight Verdun. When I was gonna go fight Radon, I met him there, and I was like, "Oh shoot, you seem like a cool big ass jar."
yeah,
And then I kept following his storyline from there, and I'm like, "Oh, I ended up finding Jarberg, and I just love everybody so much more." And
yeah,
then there was this one point in the Elden Ring story. If you ain't seen it this far, you know what I'm saying, that's tough. Spoilers, turn away, mute, cover your ears. But like, I gotta kill this dude. I'm like,
yeah,
damn. And I went back to the village, and I'm like, bro, they have all these little pots waiting on him, like his big cousin and
yeah.
stuff like that. Like they wait. I'm like, damn. There's Elden Ring as a base has really good voice acting, very good performances, very good environmental building. But I think where it definitely excels way more than other games is the ability to make you care in different varying stages depending on how much you explore. There's so much more layered to it the more you explore. It just depends on what you find. Like some people could have 1,000 hours like each, but they'll find different stuff. And in their first playthrough, it could be like 150 hours, like both equal time. But they'll find different stuff and they'll attach themselves to different things, along their playthrough, and they'll have a complete different experience. They'll have a complete different appreciation for the game. So I love both. And I think that some games, while the narrative isn't as strong, they could do well to employ that style of environmental storytelling. Having people being a bit more spread out, having things where you don't have to just go point A to point B and then you find a story and they talk to you in this cutscene. Having those moments where you have to kind of piece some things together for yourself, like I think that's really cool. That's why, like, you can look at Silent Hill 2. You can look at Silent Hill 2 and how they built that story out. Like things seem maybe kind of simple, but how much was working in the background of it, of what you were meant to do, or what you got led to do. Like you were making choices all the time and you never really knew it. But the fact that it was, just little things here and there that built out the depth in that story, and you got a complete different ending based on what you did and what you interacted with, who you interacted with, how you interacted with them. That level of depth and storytelling, I think, is something that's it's not as heavily utilized in today's game, and I think it's something that could be used a lot more. I think we're gonna see that a lot more. Elden Ring definitely was like there's like an Allen Iverson moment. Like people gonna take after and pattern like the style, pattern the game a little bit after in its future iterations. And I think this will be for the benefit of gaming because not everything needs to be a handheld experience, and that's where again, from a generalist perspective, I will say, hey, listen, I don't need to get like I don't need to get walking across the street. I'm not 75, like what I'm saying. I don't need to know this tutorial for that tutorial and like this reminder all the time. But to each his own. It's a different style, but it's something that I would like to see more frequently in gaming.
I can agree. I am very much on I agree with you in the terms of like I don't think everything needs to be a handheld type of situation. I do believe
Mhm.
that that hand should always be present in case somebody needed it.
I agree.
And that's something that will never change it. I definitely think that I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I think that the thing that I liked the most about Elden Ring was that the world made the story. So like I would walk into a
Mhm.
place and I'm like, why is this place rotting? And then you find out later in the story about
Mhm.
why this is this way or XYZ.
Mhm.
I also think that playing the game, I'm not gonna lie to you, I skipped a lot of dialogue because I just didn't care. And the reason I didn't care is because I'm coming into this game, but it's very heavy gameplay where I'm like, I'm just trying to kill shit. I'm trying to get the things I'm coming here for. I'm trying to get this cool whip that I'm trying to get.
Mhm.
And like when I get stopped by a random dude on the street, honestly, I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And sometimes
Yeah.
they're like, the way they talk, sometimes I don't know what the fuck they're trying to tell me because they're just like,
Mhm.
"Ooh, that is a nice sword you got there. If you do the
Mhm.
whatever." And I'm just like, all right, cool. This dude's talking in like weird rhymes or whatever. I'm gonna go
Mhm.
Google it. And then I Google it, and then I'm like, oh, this dude wants me to go meet him at the church at nighttime so that I can
Mhm.
go give him the ring so that I When I give him the ring, I can go get this. Like I like Elden Ring. A lot of the times I kind of get into gamer mode and check out from the story because I feel like
Mhm,
that's really what the game wants me to do. Um, so like what quest was it that was like I met this priest sitting on top of this like bridge because he was crying or whatever, and he was like, "They took my
mhm,
tower," and I went and got the tower back, and I was like,
mhm,
"All right, that's it, cool, whatever." He sells me shit now. It's pretty sick. It just doesn't.
mhm,
There are just ways like when I play God of War and I'm in the boat and this is just downtime. I'm just traveling through the town.
mhm,
Traveling to wherever I need to go. I got Atreus or Mimir or somebody filling me in on extra lore that I think is really fun. Like I think that
mhm.
like I'm like,
I
oh
agree.
cool, I hear about Thor beating the shit out of his kids, and I'm like, oh, that's horrible. I would have never known about that until that. And like
Yeah.
now I understand the character of Thor more, and I understand that,
Mhm,
and I have a different understanding of his wife because I don't really know much about her, but when you listen to the stories, you learn. And that's something
mhm,
that I don't think Elden Ring can really do because you're just by yourself a lot of the time. You don't have like a companion to start banter with. I think if they would have added like a narrator in some
mhm,
areas of like when I'm doing a quest line or things like that, I think it would have enhanced the experience, or even just straight up to me would have been like
mhm,
more cutscenes. Because there's people like I'm doing the one quest with the house where you have to go and kill these people that they send you like contracts with. I don't know if you did that side quest
mhm.
or not, but like this lady's
Wow.
sitting on this throne with like this
Oh, yeah,
dude,
yeah, 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 the
yeah.
mountain, Mount Gilmore, right?
And I'm
Was it
just
Mount
like,
Gilmore?
this is sick. I don't even
Yeah,
know who you are. You look sick, but I can't really see you because I'm like just standing there
yeah,
half naked. Like, yes, ma'am. You want to go kill this person? All right, I will go over
yeah.
there and kill this person. It's
Mount Gilmere.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like again, like it's cool. I understand why people like it. Me
Mhm.
personally, not my cup of tea. I think it could use a little bit more. God forbid, streamline it a little bit.
Yeah,
But
I
hey,
I see it.
to
It's
each
I
their
think it's
own.
just yeah, I feel like they're just the opposite ends of a really dope spectrum of how you tell a story,
Yeah.
and I'm like, both of them executed it very, very well. I think there's parts, there's like small parts of each in both. Like, okay, like I did you ever make it to okay, there's a point in Vanaheim where like there's like the place north?
No. If you're talking,
Okay, you
I don't. I got to the part where you take the bridge up. Like I'm up there, but I just got to that part.
okay, okay.
Like not the bridge, but you got to get like the second piece of a medallion or whatever the
Oh
fuck.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, no, not Elden Ring, not Elden Ring. No, no,
Oh,
no, no.
I already beat God
No.
of War.
Yeah, okay. So do you know in Vanaheim when you go up north, right?
Yes.
Like you go up north and like there's like there's a place above like a dragon. Have you seen a dragon at some point and then they went that way? Like you rescued your man's
Yes.
Birger.
Yes.
Where you went to go find him.
Yeah.
There's a good case of environmental storytelling there, but then they are very very direct in how they apply. Basically, they're saying, "Oh, hey, listen, look at that thing over there. This big ass lightning piece. What the
Yeah,
hell?"
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
immediate environmental story point is like, "Yo, I remember this in the Lake of Nine. It's right over
Yeah.
there." You know what I'm saying? What the hell is that about? I didn't
Yeah.
fight here. What's going on? But then they weave it directly into some of the side missions that were around there.
Yeah.
You can environmentally, you know, if you're just rolling past it, whatever, they'll make a note of it. They'll say, "Oh yeah, who did this?" Blah blah blah. They'll have their voice notes about it, and Ramir will talk about it.
Yeah.
Then in the voice lines, you can find the direct truth of it. They give you the again the straight line, the on track path, the clear path to finding out the answer to that environmental question. In Elden Ring, there'll be something like what's it called? The first dude that you meet at when you step out of Limgrave, the first guy, that
Yeah.
first guy, his whole storyline, I didn't really get. I was like, I saw him once. I'm like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then I went to the Raya Lucaria place and then I seen him. I'm like, yo, what you doing here? What the hell you doing here? And then just stumbling upon him a bit more randomly, but then trying to follow it down from there. It's like it's just the sense of a handhold. It's just a sense of a handhold. It's two different ways to do it. And you know, the timing of it can be very different when you run into that story again. It just depends on who you are and then how much you would enjoy that type of thing. Like, oh, see me, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy when I ran up on him randomly. I'm like, yo, I've been waiting to look for you, bro. You call me maidenless. I've been waiting to cap you. I ain't gonna lie to you. But then he told me more about, you know, like some of the things that he was getting into and how he could provide a direct audience to Mog. And I was like, oh, so I shouldn't kill you right now because you can literally teleport me right to one of the people I'm looking for. So I'm like, all right, bet I'll leave it. So it's just different methods, but they have the basis of fantastic ways to deliver information and deliver a lot of layers to a campaign where if you're just trucking through it, it is what it is. But in any case, two fantastic games, and I feel like more more games out there should learn from both.
Yes.
How to really, really create engagement through direct storytelling and not just point A to point B, and helpful tidbits in between, and also when to let people loose and hey, listen, some things you can discover, some things you don't. It
Yeah.
is what it is. So yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. On some more negative news, I should switch these orders, but I think you cannot get too far without some type of conflicting thing with Apex these days, man. But we got some constraints to the private match update, as 30 people are required to get a lobby open within the system, and no LTMs will be available on the mode as well. Only arenas and battle royale, so no control. How we feeling about this?
I'm not surprised. I said it when they announced it. I was like, I'm not surprised that they find a way to fuck this up. And congratulations, they really did. I don't think it's a bad. Like the thing is, first off, personally, I hate the whole. Well, it's gonna take up less people taking up server space or whatever. You could make it peer to peer, or you could make it if people are doing this by themselves. It's just me and my other friend, and we just want to explore Kings Canyon for content or whatever. That should already be in the game, regardless of private matches. I should be able to explore the map regardless of private matches. If Fortnite lets me build an entire world in their maps, Fortnite, I'm sorry, Fortnite is the standard. That is the standard for battle royales. They're doing everything great.
Facts.
But also like that shouldn't be a thing. Like it's just like I don't think that that's really that big of an issue. If I want to jump into a circle with me and two people, I should be able to do that. If I want to change how the rings move, I should be able to do that. Adding private matches, but adding very specific constraints to it, just put me in a fucking regular match then, I guess. Like just I like getting 30 people is good for mid-sized creators and large creators who are just getting into Apex, who will want to experience it with their communities. Phenomenal idea. No LTMs, very corny. No LTMs is corny. No, having to have 30 people is corny. Having to have 6 people for arenas is corny. What if I wanted to do a 1v1 tournament? I can't do that. I got to bring in 6 people, but hey, you guys can't fight. You guys got to literally like jump off the map at the beginning. You got to let them get busy. Like it's, I guess, whatever, bro.
It's always something, man. It's always something. Listen, the win covered all the points, bro, but no control, really? No control? Like that would have been lit. That would have been a crazy custom game mode. Just control, bro.
Yeah.
Just give us that. Like arenas is cool, battle royale is cool, but control would have been heat in a private match setting, bro. Man, listen, I'm gonna, and you could have been able to customize each loadout too. Man, listen, let me not, because they're just gonna take my idea and just deny it, smack it down, throw it in the trash because it's not feasible. Whatever, Apex, you're gonna do what you do. I'm not tied to the hip to you anymore. So,
Yeah.
ugh,
It's one of those
gosh.
things where it's like I was like, this is sick. I could like 1v1 my friends and we can like teach each other stuff. And then like they're like, oh, you need 6. I was like, I literally, and I have 6 people who I can play arenas with. I literally was like, I'm not doing
Mm,
this though. Like I'm not.
yeah.
That's whatever. You got it.
Yeah, good luck, Charles, on redacted.
Mm.
All right, moving forward. The last story of the day here, and I saved the a whale for last, baby. I saved the whale for last. Ubisoft are quite frankly in one of the shakiest periods in their lifespan up to this point, as a lot of news has come out about their projects, and it's not great. First off, Skull and Bones has been delayed for the 6th time in its development cycle, with the date set to early 2023 now across the board. Let's do a full stop here, man. Skull and Bones, man. Not in the best shape.
Skull and Bones is looking like Skull and Bones. That's exactly what's going on. Like they're
Ah!
waiting for all of us to turn into Skull and Bones before we can play Skull and Bones for immersion purposes.
Oh my gosh. Ah, man. Like, how many times, bro? I was telling people the other day, bro. I was yesterday. I was like, bro, Skull and Bones might be a money laundering operation. That is losing money because they're not making anything off of the game. Like,
Right.
so who is this a front for? Is it Eve? Bro, like, I don't know what's happening, dog. Like, ah, I was never interested in the game to begin with. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yeah, just took the ship mode off of Black Flag and just made it its own thing. I get it. I really do.
I
If you
respect.
want to focus on that, whatever. But the fact that y'all delayed it 6 times, I'm like, bro, clearly something's not working. Just remaster Black Flag. You'll be all right. Just put multiplayer in it too for the mode. It probably would have been a quicker time to delivery.
Turn
To
it
be real,
off. Just turn it off.
turn it off.
Turn it off.
Skull and Bones is looking very, very much like it has scurvy, bro. It's this terrible. It's not looking good, bro. It's not looking
Yeah.
good. And beyond that, Ubisoft has reportedly faced some slower sales in recent months and has canceled 3 unannounced games in addition to the previous 4 that they canceled in last July. And they've been aiming to cost cut by about 200 million throughout cancellations and more divestiture of non-critical assets of the business. Now, Ubisoft said past this, they're focused on the biggest brands and developing them, which many people have mentioned to be Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, and The Division. So, thoughts on this new direction, man? And just in general, Ubisoft standing.
Ubisoft focusing only on the big names. It's like a regular Tuesday. Um, man, like we get an Assassin's Creed like every other year at this point. We get a Far Cry. It feels like every other year. Far Cry hasn't been really groundbreaking, or I wouldn't even consider Far Cry that big of a brand since like 3. Like Far Cry took the world
Yeah,
by storm in 3. 4 was like,
three
oh, this is
was three
okay.
was high.
Yeah, 4 was like, okay, this is cool. Since 5, it's kind of just been fans of Far Cry, which aren't that many. Like
Mm.
this isn't I don't know of anybody who bought it day one. Far Cry 6. I definitely didn't.
I did
I
not.
have it and I haven't even
I
played
still
it.
gotta play it. I
Yeah.
still gotta play it too. It's it right.
Like I own it. I just haven't played it. This whole buy big brands thing is kind of just like sure, I guess like this is not you could put the biggest brands in the world, bro. Like you could make a game about Nike and Adidas. Like you can make all the brands you want. Y'all need to get what you had in the early 2010s. Whatever you had in the early 2010s, whoever those people were,
Late 2000s, early
like
then. Yeah.
hire them back because obviously this McDonald's ass quality of video games is just not cutting it. You guys are making playable games, and I'm using that word loosely, that are okay. Like it's been straight mid. It's been factory. Like you guys put games on an assembly line. It feels like give us something fresh. Give us something new. Maybe don't make another Assassin's Creed game. Maybe just make a game about somebody in Greece. What if we just did that? What if we didn't do? What if it wasn't Assassin's Creed anything? Just why don't we try new things? Um,
Nah,
I
too much. That's too much of a flight risk, man. They're
in
not gonna do it.
Rainbow
They're not
Six.
gonna do it.
Rainbow Six is old as hell. Why do we not have a new like? Why is there no engine change? Nothing. It's the same game, ain't it?
Hey, man,
Division,
chill out, man. Hey, listen. Rainbow Six just released some WWE skins, man. You can play as the Undertaker in there, bro. Come on, man.
dog. When was the
What's
last time anybody said let's hop on the Division? Bro, come on, man. I whatever, dog. Like I just feel like you making excuses, bro. Just turn it off. You too, just turn it off. This whole fucking section, just
bro,
turn it off.
man? Yeah, honestly, Assassin's Creed Mirage, that Avatar game, Frontiers of Pandora, which is already, I don't even know what's gonna happen with that, and the Assassin's Creed Japan game. Those are their last 3 chances for Ubisoft to make anything, make some headway. If they fail with those 3 games, Ubisoft is probably gonna get sold. I ain't gonna lie. Ubisoft is a company; they're probably gonna get acquired by somebody if those 3 games do not succeed. This is the rockiest I've ever seen Ubisoft in my life. Like this is crazy, and I lived through Far Cry Primal. It's like
Yeah.
so this is a very very like tumultuous as spot for them. I'm not gonna lie. Like Assassin's Creed, they said Mirage is going to be again a comeback to the roots, original Assassin's Creed game, like type beat, no RPG stuff. I'm fine with. Let's see how that reception goes. It's gonna be a smaller game. Hopefully that reception goes good. I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I do want to try it since they said, "Hey, listen, we're going back to the essence." Cool. Tom Clancy Ghost Recon. There hasn't been any decent Ghost Recon since what? Future Soldier, Advanced Warfare 2, something like that.
Something like
Listen,
that.
I'm not checking for Ghost Recon lately. I have not been. You know what I'm saying? Unless you really do something to again optimize the game off the rip,
You
or at least as
can't.
close to off the rip as possible. You know what I'm saying? And just make it a little bit more enticing. Like I would love to play like a co-op Wildlands game, but it just things didn't mesh together, bro. It just didn't seem as much of an enticing experience. Rainbow Six is just gonna stay in Rainbow Six's lane. The division literally has not been hot since like I'm about to say Trump was probably still president. But last time division was hot. To be real,
If it
like
was even
I
hot.
don't. If it was like a lukewarm, a kind of got the outside in the microwave, but the center is still cold type beat, like it's not doing it. It's not doing it for me, bro. The only chance they have, like I said, the AC Japan game, AC Mirage, and an Avatar joint. Nothing else is gonna work for them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if they drop a new what's the name? Watch Dogs and bring back the dude from 2. Like that's the only hope they have. And even then, that's not big enough. The 2 ACs and the Avatar game are the last 3 chances Ubisoft have, and if they don't have that, they're out of here. They're getting sold, Yu-Gi-Oh's dipping, all that stuff. It's a wrap for them, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I
Facts,
mean,
bro.
everybody knows how I feel about Ubisoft. I don't care.
Facts. Don't even take my word for it, man. Let's ask stand-in, bro. King, bro, what you feel about that? That's what I thought. I know he's right. He's right, man. He's right. I forgot, man, was here the whole time, man. My fault, bro. My fault. I ain't even mean to, you know what I'm saying, lead you out like this, but it's all good. But that's all the topics we got for this show today. Anything that we might have missed when stand-in? Anything?
No, not that I can think of. Anything that I have, I might bring for next week, but other than that, no.
Yeah, nah, I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah, man. It's been a pretty solid week so far. A lot of good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think more than I thought was coming through this week. Can't wait to see what drops. You know what I'm saying? A lot of games are coming, bro. A lot of games are coming. We did this draft thing the other day. You know what I'm saying? You should probably check out at All for Growth. You know what I'm saying? All on Twitter and whatnot to check out what we're doing with that. A lot of games are coming, and it's gonna be a very, very good time. But not for my wallet. So interesting to see how 2023 develops. And yeah, we locked in, man. We locked in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys drink your water. Make sure you guys tap in with the content and be ready because we're moving. We're moving.
It's moving, man. It's moving, man. So yeah, my closing notes is watch Luther, watch Luther, watch Luther. Thank you. Thank you. Those are my closing notes. Again, on behalf of our stand-in for, you know what I'm saying, King VII and What Easy. This has been episode 51 of No Cooldown Podcast, and we are out of there. Rate us 5 stars. All right, we're good.
Sick.
All right. Nice.
Thank you guys.
506. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you guys for the stream. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you check out the YouTube. There's gonna be a video coming out soon. I recorded it. I just need to edit it, but there's so many other videos I gotta edit. It's actually kind of nuts. But
Recorded, yes.
we did do we did a video game draft, so that will be out soon at some point.
That's coming.
That's gonna be that one is really, really interesting. That was really fun. And you guys can check out the final results on the Twitter of All for Growth. I think my team is pretty stacked. I'm pretty confident. And I think it's gonna be a really interesting year. Let's see who is live. I think just might still be live, but I'm not sure. I don't see him, so maybe not. Let's see who else is live. If I can't find anybody cool, I'm ending the stream because I gotta pee really badly. As per usual. Let's see. All right. Doesn't seem like anybody who I'm super interested in streaming right now, and the urge to pee has gotten really stronger. So I will catch you guys next time. You guys are awesome. We'll see you guys next week, and I will see you guys on Monday for my streams. Catch you guys next time. Otaku